Welcome back to Tarot by the Bay. I'm David. Well, the court case is done. The defense is rested. The judge has given the jury the rest of the week off. I think it's because on Wednesday they couldn't meet for court. Friday somebody's flying out of town, and there's no guarantee closing arguments will get done in a day. So Judge Mershon has allowed the court to go into recess, and they will meet again on Tuesday, the 28th, the day after Memorial Day, to go over closing arguments, followed by jury instructions, and then the jury will get the case. So I could throw on next week after the closing arguments are done and the jury instructions are given on how quickly the jury will rule on it. Now, when I did that reading a week or two ago, I thought they would get the case like Wednesday of this week, and they would have it resolved by Friday, so they wouldn't have to come back to court for after their 3-day weekend. Well, they're going to get their 3-day weekend, but then they have to come to court and actually do the work. So part of this delay, it certainly was by Trump calling Costello as a witness, or no, Trump's legal team apparently didn't want to call Costello as a witness. That's how the reporting is going, because he's problematic, and he was. That leads some like Midas Touch or even a Hawk from TikTok to describe him as one of the best witnesses that the prosecution could have called was the defense calling Bob Costello. So he did a good job of alienating himself from the jury, and everything Donald Trump touches dies. So let's look at the energy now that this case is done. We'll have closing arguments, and that might influence the jury. But let's look at the energy around the jury right now and see how things are looking. Okay? Entertainment purposes only. Trump trial, New York criminal trial. How are things going now that this case is over with? Upside down cards, upside down deck. It's judgment time. The music is, it's time to pay the piper. Here's the piper, here with the trumpet, and here are the people that are going to come up and judge Donald Trump for his actions in this case. And they're at a crossroads. Justice is supposed to be blind. And I've had really good vibes on this jury being a very fair jury. Please give faith to the judicial system in New York, and that this jury trial will work out the way it is supposed to. Underneath it all is the Hierophant. This is the court systems at work. This is the foundation of the United States. We talk about our democracies and our capitalism, but at the foundation of it is our legal system. It's like the backstop to everything, which is why what we see going on in the Supreme Court is so disturbing. It's why what we see with the Judge Eileen Cannons of the world is so disturbing and so infuriating, because we've never had to really question our courts like we are questioning now. Now, I say that as a Caucasian male and not as a black male saying the 30s, 40s, and 50s in the South. Yeah, I'm sure you would have a much different opinion, and you would be right to have that much different opinion. But in an idealized court system, our courts are supposed to be justice is supposed to be blind, and you're supposed to be judged by a jury of your peers in our court systems. That's the ideal we aspire to. We don't always hit it, but that's what we should be aspiring to. In the past, we got the Page of Pentacles. I think it's just the evidence that's being offered to the jury. This is also the jury itself. As I mentioned just a second ago, you are judged by your peers. This is a voluntary system. You get paid a minor amount of money in there, but it's your civic duty to come in and do this. This is one of the values of the jury system in the United States. They're not professional jurors. They are a jury of your peers. So ostensibly, a jury of your peers are going to understand the challenges that you face. and look at the evidence, apply the law to those challenges, and rule accordingly. Current situation is the Ace of Cups. Jurors are human. They've got passions, they've got feelings, they've got joys and fears, and they have to, even to get on the jury, you had to be able to take your emotions and put them aside for the benefit of the judicial system. You have to be fair to the prosecution. You have to be fair to the defendant. You need to be blind and base your judgment solely on the evidence that's presented to you. That's what you have to do. Now, there's been concern, and I can throw on that, about what if we get one juror who's a Trumper and they don't want to follow through on that. That's what this card is saying. You know, you could very well have somebody on that jury who is a MAGA nut or a Trumper, but it's going to be up to the people in the jury to steer that person to what they're supposed to rule by. And remember, lest we forget, and I'll hammer it home again, there are 2 lawyers in this jury pool. 2. You've got 2 people to help keep the jurors between the guardrails. And both these lawyers, heck, they could both be Trumpers too for all we know. But they also know the law, and they know how they're supposed to rule. They at least have the understanding. And you can bet that the folks in that jury room will be looking to these 2 people as mentors. They're going to be the ones that help you break the ties, because they can explain to you everything that's going on. And these 2 lawyers might even take a step back and just say, you know, you guys need to sort things out. But if anybody starts going too far out of bounds, they're there to bring them back in. Okay? We are very, very fortunate that we have 2 attorneys in this jury. The overarching energy is the devil. You know, Trump himself and the people that will volunteer to do things from this whole trial is about Donald Trump's ego and his desire to avoid embarrassment and to avoid losing an election that he never intended to win. And all the witnesses are people that have made deals with the devil. None of these are enemy of Trump's. These are people that were in Trump's camp in some way, shape, or form at some point in life. The lesson to be learned is the Queen of Pentacles. Again, you have people volunteering, but doing their civic duty, and they're taking their responsibility seriously. They were going to be practical with their rulings on this. I don't see anything. I'm not getting the delusions card or anything like that. I'm seeing people being practical here. Outcome is the 8 of Wands. Marina had seen them. She was of the opinion they could decide this in 7 hours, and I think she's right. They probably could. I got a Knight of Swords when I previously read on this, as well as the 8 of Wands. There is going to be, these decisions are going to be quick. I think the majority of the jurors, they understand if he's guilty or not. They have made up their mind. They're just waiting for the opportunity to go back and discuss it. Again, historically speaking, about 15 years ago, I sat on a civil trial. And fortunately for the civil trial, you only needed 9 of 12. You didn't need all 12 to get in there. And it was a 3-week-long trial. And we could not discuss the trial with each other even when we're in the jurors in the back. You're not supposed to discuss it, and none of us did. But it was so nice to be able to talk about that case once the jurors could go back to the jury room to discuss it. It was just so nice to be able to finally discuss what was going on and what we thought of some of the lawyers and some of the witnesses and some of the theatrics that we saw. a lot of bonding happened in that trial. So I at least have a perspective from a juror, knowing what what's like in the juror room. Now, mind you, that's an N of one. I've been on one jury, so I cannot say I'm an expert on these things, but I've at least had the experience, so I can relate to it. When we voted, and it was a medical civil case. I think it was 8 people were supporting one side and 4 people were undecided. So we had to start discussing point by point what was going, and we got to the 9 person threshold on all the counts and ruled accordingly. Okay, so it looks like the jury's ready to go, and they're going to move quickly on this. Okay. And literally, the 8 of Wands is also just waiting for the last closing arguments and those jury instructions. They are ready to go. The 8 of Wands is moving fast. All right. Let's one more look at the jury here. How is the jury looking? Are they going to be ruling on the evidence presented? Any concerns we should have? This will be my 3rd reading on the jury. I've done a 3rd or 4th. I did a reading on the first half when the first half was selected, the second half, and a follow-up on those. I've never gotten a bad reading on this jury. Okay. King of Cups. Emotional maturity. In some ways, I don't know if this Judge Mershon, but the jury will take the lead, will follow the lead of the judge on this. And this judge has been very patient and very fair. Now, mind you, he cleared the courtroom the other day when Bob Costello was just being a complete nitwit and putting on a performative arts presentation for Donald Trump and his flunkies out there. But stuff like that, again, having been on one jury, if I had seen something like that and the judge cleared them out, we would not be happy with the people that had angered the judge. We liked our judge. Our judge was very, very fair throughout that trial. And the folks in the jury that, at least from my perspective, really liked and respected him. So, again, I hear commentators talk about you don't want to lose the jury follows the judge. In my experience, that is true. 7 of Wands. I think also there's a maturity here. They're going to go through each of the charges. They will discuss them. And they'll have some spirited discussions if spirited discussions need to be made here. But there's agreement here. There's a lot of agreement made with these folks in this jury. Mature, emotional jury. Now, they're going to keep control of their emotions. They're going to work step by step. Remember, we got the 8 of Wands. This is 7 of Wands. This is taking the action and going through those charges. And I think they're going to come to agreements on things. They're going to see eye to eye on this. In the past, we got the Hierophant. This is, again, the courts, the jury system. Everything went as it was supposed to go. Current situation is 3 of Cups. This jury, again, I believe I've had this card before for it. This jury's united. This is a good jury. They understand what's expected of them. That doesn't mean I'm saying that, they're going to vote Trump guilty or they're going to vote Trump not guilty. They're going to vote on the evidence. And they are going to have witnesses that they are, thankful for. Stormy Daniels would be one of those. David Pecker could be another. Michael Cohen could be one of them. Who am I missing here? The lawyer, Davidson, could be one of them. There's one other person that was a key witness. I'm forgetting one. There are a number. Karen McDougal never did testify, but there were a number of strong witnesses that testified that helped this case along. You can Hope Hicks, maybe, again, this jury, overarching energy is the victory card. This jury's united. This jury's ready to go. They've come together. There's nothing in here that looks like they've split up. Lesson be learned is the Page of Swords. They have come in knowing one thing, what you see in your news silos or on the news, but I think they leave or understand what this process is all about. They don't know the law. These are like, IT folks and teachers and tech bros and stuff like that. Yeah, you got a couple lawyers in there, but you've got a bunch of people that do their day-to-day jobs. They are not experts in this field. Yet what I see happening here is a coming together of these people for a common cause. And I don't see the disagreements here at all. And there's that same card again, that Eight of Wands. They are going to rule very quickly on this. Before, I would say that was 2 to 3 days. I have a hard time believing that they could come back guilty on all counts in one day. But this card says that is entirely possible. It is entirely possible that these guys could get that case and in 8 hours have a verdict. Do not sweat this jury. Do not fret about this jury. That is now the fourth reading I've done on this jury. This jury is solid. If they vote to acquit him, take it. If they're hung, hung would be a harder one. But I don't think this is going to be a hung jury. If they vote to convict, they voted to convict based on the evidence. Again, if they vote to acquit, they've acquitted on the evidence. Probability-wise, I don't see him acquitting. There's just too much evidence. There's too much. There's too much paperwork. There's people to corroborate the paperwork. There's people to put. There's people to put names and faces in places. Michael Cohen's connected all the dots. All these other folks, they put all the dots in place, and Michael Cohen literally drew the picture. So I think in this case, don't worry about the jury. The jury looks like it's going to be fine. They're going to get this case, and they're going to rule on it very quickly. And I think we're going to get our Three of Cups moment that we have been waiting for the past 7 or 8 years. All right? We're going to get through this. Okay, I'll leave it here. Thank you very much for watching this video and supporting my channel. I appreciate it. Thank you very much for your likes, shares, comments, everything you do to feed the YouTube algorithm so this video makes it out to a wider audience. To folks discovering this channel recently or for the first time, welcome to the channel. I hope you found this reading insightful, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care.